There's something about loss that is quite fascinating. It's intriguing because at first it looks exciting, appealing, but it's like a bait. And what just like what a bait does, the essence is to capture a prey and then leads to their destruction, their death, their doom. I know once one needs to get fascinated with lust, whether lust for money, lust for women, lust for drugs, alcohol, gambling, or whatever it is that satisfies their cravings. It looks exciting, looks appealing initially until you get hooked and it becomes difficult to break out of it. I'll give you an example. In Genesis chapter 34, when Jacob and his family arrived Shechem and Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, went to the community of the Shechemites. The Bible made us understand that Shechem, son of Hamor, saw her and then he was interested in her and in the process, you know, forced himself on her, raped her. But then that's just the first part. The other intriguing part is that afterwards he intended to want to legalize this activity. He wanted to legalize the abuse on Dina, and then he sought to marry her. The essence was he lost it, and then he was hooked, and then he wanted to find a genuine way, a legal way to continue such abuse, to continue such, indulgence, that he did, and then he sought to marry Dina. He wanted to find an alliance between his family and then the family of Jacob. So he came with his kinsmen and said, why not let me marry you? The motive behind the the quest for intermarriage between his families was driven by lust. And then in a way to legalize it, they wanted to bring in marriage. Now that's what lust does. It get eventually you steal to do it, you hide to do it, and then you start looking for legitimate ways to continue the act, to continue the practice, thereby hurting your soul, harming your spirit, and then you get so your mind gets, your conscience gets seared. And what it does eventually is that just like Simeon and Levi agreed, deceptively to the demands of Shechem and his household to marry Dinah, lust destroys unknowingly, unplanned for, suddenly. Because why the bargain was you guys are going to get yourself circumcised before you can intermarry with our brethren, and then by that you can now agree to a marriage union between the household of Jacob and the household of the Shechemites. So they agreed to this because they were not in their right mind. They were driven by a mundane desire, a mundane, you know, um, craving. So they wanted to legalize it. So they didn't mind being circumcised at that age. They were ready to endure the pain and go through such traumatizing experience because they wanted to legalize a form of abuse, and in this case to another person. So if you engage in lust, if you are driven by lust and you have not broken out of it, you begin to find that you seek for alternative ways to justify the reason why you are engaging in it until you are stuck. So I want to appeal to you to do whatever you can to break free from lust as soon as possible, whether you are lusting for women, you're lusting for alcohol, you're lusting for drugs, you're lusting for money, you're lusting for power, you're lusting for fame, whatever it is. I want you to make up your mind, put a stop to it as soon as possible, because the end is not always glorious. And eventually, what happened after Shechem and the whole household, the whole community were circumcised, Simeon and Levi, sons of Jacob, fell upon them suddenly and killed all the male child, ransacked the whole community, took the wives, took their properties. That's how lust comes like a thief in the night. That's how lust ends. That's the end point of lust. It leads to death. It leads to destruction. It leads to doom, which is irrecoverable. So I want to implore you today, if you are struggling with any form of lust, addiction, whatever it is, gambling, betting, greed, gluttony, break free today, seek counseling, go for therapy, ask questions, and get get free, get delivered from it, and the Lord will help you. God bless you.